Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a challenge yourself video, and the topic is smile lines. So I'm just going to talk you through how I do extended nail beds, the way I position my brush, the sort of beads that I'm picking up, just because, you know, we're at a time now where we're at home a lot, and I know we have children, or some of us have children, and there's not always a lot of time, but I genuinely feel if you don't do something that you enjoy doing, you're going to end up going crazy. So to stop myself having that mental breakdown whilst in between obviously entertaining my children, I am coming in and just keeping up, trying to skill build and keep myself sane and try not to think of the harsh reality of what is going on around the world. So I'm doing a few nail beds here, so I've just spoke through that one basically, but what I've done is I've picked up my first bead, I've placed it on sideways, so my brush is not facing normal, it's sideways, and I'm just showing you how I hold my brush to get that super flush. So the tip of your brush goes behind the back of the bead, just like that, tap, tap. Then I'm going to go in with my cuticle bead. So again, the tip of my brush goes behind that bead and I tap it into the cuticle, and then I blend the rest of that product down. When my brush comes to the side wall, I angle my brush inwards, so when I brush down, the bulk of that product goes into the centre and it keeps it away from any skin, side walls and cuticle area. And then that's blended on, and I have that nice apex there. Because these are short nails, they don't need a humongous apex. And then the consistency of the thickness around that wall is the same height the whole way around. So again, I'm placing my bead on sideways. The tip of my brush goes behind the back of that bead, and I go tap, tap, tap to blend that nicely into the nail plate, so that when we apply another bead, we haven't got a big ridge to try and cover. So I'm just tapping that bead from side to side, trying to keep the wings of my smile line the same on each side. This is where you really do have to kind of eyeball it and just make sure that you're pulling it up to the same, like the wing goes the same depth on all of the nails. So I always like to try and start the wing from where the natural smile line would be, and if I want it a bit deeper, I will go in. So here I'm just showing you again the tip of my brush, getting it nice and flat, and then the thickness of that wall there. I'm now going to build the rest of that nail up to that same thickness. So I'm going in with the cuticle bead. So I'm placing my bead, press, release, tap in the sides, brush behind the bead, tap, tap, tap to the side, brush it down, tap, tap, tap to the other side, angle your brush in and brush it down onto the rest of that product. So again, that is another nail bed on. So again, place your bead, press, release, wipe your brush. Come in, tip behind the bead, tap, tap, tap to the side, tap, tap, tap to the side. And then just start using the kind of side of your brush to pull in that wall and where you want that extended nail bed to start. So we want that nice smile line. So just start manipulating that bead, patting it down as well to keep it all the same height and nice and neat. And then just go in again with the side of your brush and just pull the bead in. So patting it nice and flat evenly distributes the product, and then you can push it around with your brush to get it into place. So when you're happy with that, another thing is there, my brush, you just see me hold it sideways so I could see that my wings were both equal and starting at the same place. And I'm just turning my client's hand around to make sure that the smile line point is nice and central, because sometimes it can look like it's central facing this way, but then when you turn their hand around, it's actually wonky. So always a good thing to just pop their hand around and check it from their view. So again, going in my cuticle bead, placing my bead, pressing, releasing, tip of the brush goes behind the back of that bead, tap, tap, angle your brush to the side and brush the rest of that product down onto that previous bead we've already applied, which should be nice and flush and smooth, so it should just blend down nicely. We're then going to take our brand new file and we're going to hold it completely flat against that wall. You don't want to do it like at an angle because you're only going to file one part of the wall. We want the whole of that wall to be super crisp. So make sure that your file is pushed against the product and onto that smile line and not down on the tip, completely flat. Do this on all of the nails and then brush away the dust. So once you've removed all the dust, you can go in with your design. Now I've chosen to do a marble on all the tips just to keep it a little bit different. So I'm just picking up the loose colours and placing it on the nail and kind of swirling them between each other. I'm not going in with a really defined marble. I'm just coming in and applying something on the tip. So the colours that I'm using are Barbie Girl, Apple Shine, Coconut Milk and a purple colour that I mixed myself from CJP. So it doesn't matter if you go over your smile line. So if you're using core colours, it doesn't matter because you'll end up filing it off anyway. So if you're using white, you can go right over that nail bed. It doesn't matter because we're not capping. If you're using a design and you want to cap it, then you do kind of be careful about the smile line. But again, as you can see, I'm not too worried because even though I will cap the very tip, I'm not too fussed about filing into that colour. They are core colours. So I will just build up with these colours. So it's only if you really have a design that you want to protect that you clean it up off the smile line wall. Do not go over it so that you can cap and it's nice and crisp and clean. The same as if you wanted to do a glitter tip. So if you wanted to do a glitter tip here, what you would do is you would pick up the tiniest bit of clear acrylic, dip it into your glitter or your premixed or whatever it is that you're using, place it on the tip, clean it off the wall, do not put it over, don't put it on, clean it right up so there's the tiniest little gap between the product and the wall, and then you will go ahead and cap that for your strength. So just bear in mind the different sort of smile lines you want to achieve and to the way you apply the product afterwards. So as you can see, I'm placing the beads on and then I'm literally just going to place clear acrylic just on the free edge, just where the tip is, to build up the strength and obviously make the nail nice and even and strong. We don't want any dips and stuff like that. So I'm just going to place that clear acrylic at the tip. And even if I blend it backwards, it still won't matter because our wall has designed the height and the thickness of the nail. So when we file through that, we are still going to reveal that nice crisp smile line and we're not going to end up with a really thin and weak nail. This is why it's super important to build that wall and build your apex with your cover pink. If you were to do that and you were to file it and then the nail was too thin, there is absolutely nothing stopping you going back in and encapsulating that nail for added strength. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that if you do it with the nude, you won't have to take that step. So this is my bit I use for debulking and finish filing. It is the smooth top safety bit in a fine grit from Nail Dot Supplies, and this is the bit I always use for every single finish filing. So I take my hand file, I do the sidewalls and the free edge of all of the nails. I'm keeping my file super flat and sharp against that sidewall. I want them super crisp, so I'm keeping my file flat. So I clean up from underneath and then my file is completely flat against that sidewall. I do this on all 10 nails. And then after I'm done with my hand, just like kind of shaping where I want, just to get a rough idea and cleaning up my sidewalls and my free edge. And then I'm going to come in with that e-file bit, debulk and refine. So you can see I go around the cuticle, side walls, back and forth over the entire nail. And you can see where we did go over with that product, it has just taken that straight off. So when you're done with your e-file, come back in with your hand file and just finish refining. So I just go over the whole nail and then I flip my client's hand around and I go down the side, completely flat, the other side, completely flat, and then I put my file completely flat on the very tip as well and just go back and forth to get that super crisp shape. So I'm using the CJP Time to Shine top coat because it is my new favourite, and if you don't have it, I definitely recommend it. It's a lot thicker than the Top Gloss, kind of almost self levels and gives that super glossy shine. I am so impressed with it. I have it on my nails at the minute and they are still so shiny. Absolutely love it. So the last step now is obviously cleaning away the dust and then applying your top coat. She's going to cure in the lamp for 60 seconds now, and that is it. So if you do recreate this set, please do tag me on the CJP group on Facebook. This is where we're doing the daily challenge me. I'd love to see your recreations of doing any smile lines, and just use the hashtag so I can see it. I love you all so much and I hope you're staying really, really safe. Yeah, get your kits out and have a go. I'll see you soon. Bye.